Right, so this is going to be the follow-up to the finding organs and other body parts, which hopefully you did before you watched this video. So what you were supposed to do here was, I know I put the explanation in the calendar and in the content, but what I was hoping that you did, so if you didn't do this, it was for your own learning, so I would encourage you to go back and kind of do the assignment the way that you're supposed to do it. So on the PowerPoint, you got a slice, like an actual, well, you didn't get an actual slice of the human body, but you got a picture of an actual slice of the human body, right? And it asked you to look for certain organs that were in that body. And then on the sheet, the handout sheet, the blank space, what I want you to do is to draw the slice of the body in that space there, okay? The best of your ability. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. What we're trying to do here is trying to use your sense of movement to embed the information into your brain, all right? And then try to label the appropriate organs and body parts based on what you're seeing in the pictures. And then after you've done that, if you made a mistake, no biggie, go back, fix it up, and then look at the image, right, of whatever it is. Look at the diagnostic image of it and try to label the similar parts, okay? And then just check your answers and see how you did. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go through here and do the follow-up and see how you did, okay? And do a little bit of talking through here as well. So if you didn't do the assignment the way that you're supposed to do the assignment, which you would have done it properly if we'd be in class, I encourage you to do it properly, but if you didn't and you want to just get moving on here, that's fine too. Just please pay attention to what we're doing. Okay. So what I did is I found some pictures. I'm always going, oh, I wish I had the model. So I thought I would just embed some pictures into here. So when I'm yammering on, you know what I'm talking about. All right. So the first one, you had a slice that went through just below the belly. So I found this thing, this model thing, which would be so cool to have to show, like you open each of these slices and it shows you what the body would look like in there. It's $6,000 or something like that. Anyway, so this was kind of neat. It just shows you where the different slices are. And then this was our model that if we had in class, I could show you where we're slicing. So that first question, we're slicing right up here, kind of at the top of the liver, not the very top of the liver, but kind of near the top of the liver. Okay, underneath the chest. So when we're looking in here, we're trying to find where's the liver, where's the spleen, where's the stomach, the aorta, whatever. Okay, so if you're looking at this, remember, if we're cutting in the abdomen, or if you're looking at anything, if you see a great big organ in here, you know that's got to be the liver. Okay, now this is a real human. This is a real cadaver that's being preserved and then sliced so you can get these things. This in the back here, all right, this is a piece of the spleen. All right, and then this empty thing here, because this is human and a stomach, you know, at this stage in its life is definitely going to be empty. This would be your stomach in here too. Okay, and then you can kind of see some of the ribs around the outside here as well. The spinal cord isn't in there right now, but this is where the spinal cord would be, and you can see the vertebrae around the outside. Okay, so let's take a peek. So hopefully you drew something that looked as similar to that as possible so that you really get the idea of where the parts are positioned. And remember again, this person, you're looking up through them towards their head. So you're looking from the bottom up and they're laying on their back. Alrighty, so let's check the structures here. All right, so there's the big liver in there. There's the spleen back here. There's the stomach. There's the aorta here, that great big blood vessel that goes right down to the bottom of your abdomen, then splits off into two. The other thing I want to say about the stomach is it quite often tends to move around because remember it does curve around the left side of your body. So depending on where the cut is, the stomach isn't always going to be in this spot. It may move up to this spot. Same thing with the spleen. It's going to kind of move around a little bit. It's not actually moving. It's just how the cut goes. Alrighty. Next thing was we had the inferior vena cava. That's going to be another great big blood vessel that's going to bring blood from the bottom of the body back up to the heart, back up to the right atrium. Okay, and there's a vertebrae spelt wrong. And there's our rectus abdominis muscles. So those abs, those are those muscles that are up there in the front of the body there. And did I already have, I don't know. Okay. So this was the picture that you were given. So a little bit different, but we're trying to get familiar with where things are or what they're going to look like. All right, this is a perfect example of where the stomach tends to move around depending on where the cut is. Okay, so hopefully on here you got the great big liver. All right. You've got the spleen here. Now the spleen is going to be dense tissue. So it's going to show up as dense tissue. This is the stomach. So this particular person must have had some type of liquid in their stomach when they were getting this MRI done. Because a lot of times for the MRI, there is no real big prep that you need to take. You just kind of show up and get your MRI done. As long as you don't have anything in your body that's metal, you're good to go. All right, so this is going to be your stomach here. Here's the aorta here. Here's the inferior vena cava here. Okay, so let's just put these labels up here. So your liver, the spleen, the aorta, the rectus abdominus. So those are going to be the muscles that are there. Remember, this person is laying on their back, so those rectus abdominal muscles are going to be up at the top. Okay, the inferior vena cava. Oh, I just want to mention this too. Look at, here's the fat around the outside. So the layer of fat around the outside, the whole entire person's. So this person's got a lot, well, not tons, there's, you know, way more, but this person's got quite the layer of fat all around their body there. All right, there's the spinal cord in here, because of course this is a living person, so it's going to actually have a spinal cord. And there's your vertebra, or vertebrae, whatever. Okay. Oh, and there's your ribs around the outside. Now it's kind of hard to see in this picture, but if you could see in this picture, you would probably notice that the bones would be outlined in black. Now the other kind of cool thing here too is this would be your pancreas in here. Okay, that's kind of close to the stomach there. Alrighty. Oh, and there's the stomach. And like I said, the stomach kind of moves around. So this, in this particular case, this actual cut's a little bit lower than what you saw in the real human. So the stomach's curved around a little bit more. Alrighty, so now this next picture here, here's our cut again. All right, what it's going to look like. And this time we've cut lower on our human. So we're cutting lower down there, down here a little bit more. Okay, so the last time we cut a little bit higher, now we're cutting a little bit lower. Again, this is not going to be perfect compared picture. So in this one here, we want to find the kidneys, the aorta, the inferior vena cava, intestines, the vertebra, the spinous erectus muscles. So the spinous erectus muscles are going to be the ones that are on either side of the vertebrae to help keep our back straight, and then our liver. All right, now remember we're at a lower cut, so we're not going to see as much of the liver probably. Alrighty, so one thing to remember is that the intestines look kind of bubbly. All right, so remember they're looped here. Obviously a dead person, so this is not going to have matter in it any longer. So you'll see the intestines quite often sort of look bubbly. All right, you can see part of the vertebrae down here, and this is where the spinal cord would be in here. And then if you remember, your kidneys are on either side of the vertebrae. Okay. Here's the little bottom part of the liver there, just down at the very bottom. You're just seeing the final little lobe of the, or bottom part of the lobe of the liver. Here's your aorta. Okay, here's the inferior vena cava again. Alrighty, so hopefully your diagram looks something like this. If it doesn't look perfect, it's not a big deal. You can see the fat and the skin around the outside here, or in muscle too. Okay. So let's see what we got. We got kidney there, we got kidney there on either side of the spinal cord, close to the back, right? And remember, the kidneys are up high, you know, up just kind of underneath your rib cages in the back. There's your aorta, there's your inferior vena cava, there's your bubbly intestines, there's your vertebrae, there's your spinous erectus muscles. Alrighty, keeping that spine nice and straight. There's a little piece of your liver. And then here's what the skin is going to look like. Okay, so same kind of thing. We're just going to look at all the pieces that we're familiar with. So look at bubble, 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 bubble. That gives you a good idea. We're in some intestines in here. Okay, here's would be your vertebrae here. Okay, and we know either side of the vertebrae we're going to have the kidneys. All right, here's your spinal cord in here. We can see the nice structure of the muscle in here is your spinous rectus. Look at the fat around the guy here, or girl, whoever it was. All right, and then the little piece of liver that's still in the shot here. Okay, so we've got the aorta. Oh, I missed pointing those out. The inferior vena cava. We've got the intestines. and the vertebrae, the spinous erectus muscles, the little piece of liver that's left over. Oh, darn, that was it. Okay, now this one was a little bit, oh no, that's not this one, it's the other one. So here we go with our ultrasounds. All right, so we're taking a peek here. We've got a pretty distinct kidney shape object here. So this is going to be your kidney here, and then we've got the stone that's in the center of the kidney here, and then again, here's that echo or that shadow that we end up seeing. Okay, so let's see what we've got. So hopefully you've got something drawn similar to that. There's your whole kidney, and there is the little kidney stone that's in there. All right. And again, I think we talked about this already, but maybe not. But one of the reasons why you want to, for sure, if you have a real bladder infection, right? It's not just because you're dehydrated and it hurts to pee, but if you've got a bladder infection that's bacteria, you want to make sure that you get treated, because the bacteria can crawl up and end up in the kidneys and end up forming an infection in the kidneys. And one of the ways your body kind of deals with that is to form stones. So sometimes you can form kidney stones thanks to bacterial infection. There's other ways you can form stones as well, not just that way. Okay. Alrighty. So next thing we have on here. All right. So now when we look at this image, we're taking a peek up through the person from down below up to their heads, and again we're down here at the upper abdomen, or up here at the upper abdomen, and here's our vertebrae, and then on either side of the vertebrae we've got these little round things. Here's our kidney, and then inside there with that nice bright color, all right, is some kidney stones. So we got kidney, we got kidney, we got kidney stones, we got kidney stones on the inside, right? So that way you saw the ultrasound, and then what we've done next is we've gone and done a scan to see what they look like. Alrighty. Oops. So this next one here, we are going to be looking at a little bit of a higher cut now. All right, so we're up here in the chest doing a cut across here. So if we look at the slice of the human up in the chest, we notice here great big lungs up here. Alrighty, great big lungs up here. All right, ask us look for the heart. Well, the only thing that's going to have great big chambers like this is going to be the heart. So this is actually showing you the chambers of the heart, because obviously there's not blood in this slice any longer. We've got the vertebrae back here. Okay, we've got that great big aorta here, and then around the outside we've got the ribs. So this is the real flesh. Alrighty, so let's take a peek now at the scan. Oh, never mind, sorry. We've got lung, we've got heart there, we've got the aorta, and we've got the vertebrae. Okay, and then obviously here would be the spinal cord if it was still a live person. Okay, so now we're looking at the CAT scan in this direction. All right, so we're looking up through from the bottom. Remember, CAT scan, we got our air is black, 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 because the x-rays are passing through really, really easily. We've got our vertebrae here, right? We've got ribs. Remember, the ribs are kind of on an angle, so we're just going to get cuts through the ribs. This would be the sternum up here, just in case you were wondering. All right, look at the aorta there. It's gigantic. And here's the heart. Okay, so we've got a nice slice of the heart there. Alrighty, so let's take a peek at that again. So we've got a lung on that side, and there would be a lung on this side too. I'm not sure if I've labeled that. We've got a vertebrae. We've got the heart, forgot to say that too. We've got the aorta, and we've got the ribs around the outside. Oops. So next one here says to identify the liver, the kidneys, the femur, the vertebrae, spot wrong, the bladder, the rib, and the ilium. All right, now the ilium, we didn't really get too much into the pelvic, but the pelvic bones are made up of 3 bones, and one of them is the ilium. Okay, so if you didn't remember what the ilium is and you didn't go look it up, we'll label it. Okay, so again, we're going to be looking through the person, and we're looking at the abdomen here, and you know the great big organ that starts on the right side and extends over into the left is going to be the liver. All right, so there's your liver there, and then on either side of the spine we're going to have the kidneys. All right, along the inside here, oh no, vertebrae here, that can be okay because there's more than one. All right, so here's our vertebrae, and in between there would be the discs. All right. The bladder, we're going to have this big area down here. All right. A rib, we can see the cut throughs, the ribs here, all the ribs, all the bones are nice and light colored. And the ilium is going to be this part of the pelvic bones, and it's going to, here's where the femur fits in here with the ball and socket. Okay, so there's the ilium there. All right, anything else you can see on here? There's that big psoas muscle on either side, right? Your big meaty pork tenderloin. Here's the aorta that's coming down from the heart as well. Okay, so let's do the labels. We've got the liver, the kidney, and another kidney. We've got the femur down here. Okay, on both sides down here is going to be our femur. We've got the vertebrae here. We've got the bladder down there. It's not the nicest looking bladder, but whatever. All right, and then we've got our ribs all the way up here on either side, and the ilium, which is that one piece of the pelvic bones. Alrighty, so on this diagram, let's see if we can label the same type of things. A little bit different here. Alrighty, so we've got liver. We've got the femur down here. Now, that other one was a CAT scan, and this is the MRI. And how do you know it's MRI? Someone's going to put their hand up and say, because it looks like it's outlined with black marker. And I'm going to say, oh, you're so smart. Alrighty. And we've got the vertebrae down in here, down through the center. And then here you can see the discs are a little bit better than the other pictures. Okay, we've got a bladder here. You can see that one a little bit better. The ilium. All right, so here's this bone here. Again, it looks like it's outlined with black. All right. Oh, shoot. I was going to show you the heart too, but well, anyway. So this one here, this one was kind of mean. All righty, so, but it's kind of funny. But anyway, so in this one here, we have an MRI of a little wee baby developing in mum. All right, so here we've got some brain in here. You can see the spinal cord really nicely. You can see all the amniotic fluids surrounding the baby. You know, the baby's just, this is actually a baby that's pretty close to being born because it's pretty darn big. And then look at these great big uterine muscles. All right, they just get massively enlarged and big, strong, thick muscles. Okay. So let's take a peek here. We've got the uterus, we've got the brain of the wee babe, we've got the spine all along there. So this is what they're looking for. Well, actually, I'll shut my mouth for 1 second. Okay, and there's our amniotic fluid kind of bathing around the baby. So this was going to just say was what they're looking for when they do this. They like to look at this is not the greatest ultrasound of the baby either, but they're looking at that spinal cord to make sure that the spinal cord is in proper alignment and it's developing properly, because sometimes you can have the neural tube, so the spine when it's developing might develop partially or a little bit bigger outside the baby. Okay, so they're taking a nice look at that spine, also looking at the brain to make sure that the brain size is proper. Okay, so this was a little bit of a tricky one because they gave the MRI, which was so clearly obvious, and then into the ultrasound. All right, but there we go. There's the uterus. Remember the beam comes in. What you see at the top is the skin and the, well, this will be muscle in this case, the uterus. All right, we've got the wee baby's brain. We've got the spine along the back there, and then bathing around the outside, because there's a lot of fluid and it's going to be black, is the amniotic fluid. Okay, so that's the last slide for this follow-up. So just make sure you can recognize anything off of all these diagrams, right? Because they're fair game for the big quiz that we're going to have at the end, all right? And I won't give you anything trickier than what's on here, all right? Make sure you know what the kidney looks like. Make sure you know what a gallbladder looks like. It's not on this one, but we did the gallbladder already. Okay, talk to you later.